New York City, the city that never sleeps, the city of dreams, and famously one of the most expensive places on earth. Now imagine for a moment trying to survive there on just $800 a month.
Wow.
You're probably thinking, and frankly, I don't blame you, wait, $800 in New York City? That's utterly impossible.
It certainly sounds it.
Yet, our sources for this deep dive suggest otherwise. We've been given this incredible collection of articles, research, and first-hand accounts detailing what it really takes to make ends meet in NYC on an extreme budget. So our mission today is to kind of pull back the curtain and uncover how this seemingly impossible feat is actually achieved, what sacrifices are made, and what it tells us about this unique city.
It's true. The very premise feels almost fantastical. And when you look at the raw data, it just underscores how extreme this scenario truly is. A recent 2024 report by Numbeo, it's a global database, consistently places New York among the top 10 most expensive cities worldwide.
Top 10.
Yeah. And to give you some concrete context, consider this. The average rent for just a one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, it hovers around $4,500 per month.
$4,500.
Just for rent.
Just for rent. And if you strip away rent entirely, the average monthly cost of living for one person is already like an eye-watering $1,500 to $2,000.
Just for food, transport, basics.
Exactly. So these figures immediately make it clear that a budget of $800 for everything creates this enormous financial chasm. It's one that requires not just frugality, but genuinely ingenious, almost unimaginable solutions to bridge.
That context is so crucial because it really helps illustrate the sheer audacity of this challenge.
Yeah.
Let's think about some simple daily expenses that, many of us take for granted. A basic unlimited MetroCard pass for the subway and buses, that's $132 a month. Right there. A big chunk. A single latte at your favorite coffee shop. You're looking at almost $6.
Yeah. So when your entire monthly budget for everything, housing, food, transport, entertainment, emergencies is $800, these seemingly small numbers become, monumentally significant. A $6 coffee isn't a treat. It's a huge percentage of your daily allowance. This isn't just about tightening your belt. It's like an exercise in extreme resourcefulness where every single dollar has to be stretched beyond what seems reasonable.
It certainly reframes the concept of normal living entirely. When you face such tight constraints, it forces a complete redefinition of priorities and necessities. The question that immediately comes to mind is, what fundamental alterations, what profound sacrifices are people genuinely making day in and day out to navigate this financial tightrope?
Right.
It pushes beyond mere budget cutting and into a realm of truly alternative existence within one of the world's most vibrant and costly cities.
And speaking of costs, the undisputed heavyweight champion of expenses in New York City is, of course, rent.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the biggest, most daunting chunk of anyone's budget. We're talking about median rent in Brooklyn hovering around $3,300. Or even in the Bronx, often considered one of the more affordable boroughs, a modest studio apartment can still easily run you $1,800 to $2,000 a month.
Still way over the $800 total budget.
Way over. So for someone staring down an $800 monthly budget, the idea of conventional housing seems utterly fantastical. This brings us to the core question. How on earth do you even begin to manage housing on that kind of money? What are the sources telling us about these living situations?
Well, the core finding from our sources is exactly what you might expect. Conventional renting, as most people understand it, is simply not an option.
Just impossible.
It's an impossibility. Instead, individuals on this budget resort to incredibly unconventional alternatives. Think micro apartments or co-living spaces, often in the outer boroughs like parts of Queens or Staten Island. These are tiny apartments, sometimes barely larger than a walk-in closet in a suburban home, that might go for $600, $800.
So using most of the budget right there.
Pretty much. We're talking about units that measure just 100 or even 80 square feet. It's truly a test of how much personal space you could possibly do without.
80 square feet.
Yeah. And another significant strategy involves extreme roommate situations. It's not just 2 or 3 people sharing a 2-bedroom. It could be 5 or even 6 people crammed into a 2-bedroom apartment.
5 or 6? Wow.
Yeah, in a neighborhood like Astoria or Jackson Heights, maybe with bunk beds, makeshift dividers, rotating schedules for the bathroom.
Yeah.
Each person's share then drops dramatically.
Right. That makes sense mathematically, but wow.
And then there's a reliance on what we might call off-the-books rentals or subletting.
Ah, okay.
These are often found through word of mouth, community groups on Facebook, or even older Craigslist ads. They frequently involve illegally converted basements, attics, or even partitioned off sections of larger spaces. They offer prices far below market rate precisely because they exist outside official regulations. These spots might lack proper ventilation, natural light, or even legal egress.
Which sounds risky.
It definitely can be. But for someone with an $800 budget, they represent maybe the only viable option for a roof over their head.
That's a wild thought. When you say micro apartment, what are we actually picturing? Is it literally just enough space for a bed and maybe a tiny desk?
Pretty much.
Because the idea of living in a 55 square foot apartment, which you mentioned was on record in NYC, is almost incomprehensible? How does someone navigate that daily?
It really is astounding. Imagine this. 55 square feet is smaller than many people's average walk-in closet. Seriously.
Right.
You'd essentially have a bed that might fold into the wall, maybe a tiny multi-purpose surface that serves as a desk or eating area, and perhaps a shared bathroom down the hall in some cases.
Closet bathroom, yeah.
It's less about living in the traditional sense and more about existing within a highly functional, compact box. The sheer ingenuity required to make such a space work, or perhaps the desperation that compels someone to accept it, truly stands out. It's a striking example of urban adaptation to extreme conditions.
Okay, so once housing, however minimal, is somehow secured, the next major hurdle is, well, daily sustenance, food. The average New Yorker, according to our sources, spends about $460 per month just on groceries.
Right.
For someone with an $800 total budget, that figure is simply out of reach. It would consume well over half their entire monthly allowance before any other expense is even considered.
Yeah, no way.
So how do people on this budget manage their daily meals? What does their plate even look like?
Their approach to food budgeting is incredibly strict and strategic. You won't find them anywhere near premium grocery stores like Whole Foods, obviously.
No Whole Foods runs.
Definitely not. Instead, shopping is meticulously planned at places like Trader Joe's for its value, or even local dollar stores, which often have surprisingly good deals on pantry staples. Community food pantries, which are far more prevalent and organized in NYC than many realize, also play a crucial role, providing free groceries to those in need.
That's a key resource then.
Absolutely. And the vast majority of meals are cooked at home from scratch, with a heavy reliance on affordable, calorie-dense staples. Think rice, beans, pasta, eggs, frozen vegetables. Those are the foundation.
So eating out is basically gone.
Pretty much. A rarity, a luxury, almost entirely eliminated. But there's also this fascinating cultural phenomenon unique to New York that serves as a budget lifeline. The famous $1 pizza slice.
Ah, yes, the legend.
Exactly. Despite inflation, there are still a handful of places, especially in bustling areas, that offer a giant foldable slice for just a single dollar.
Still, that's amazing.
It is. These aren't gourmet, but they're hot, filling, and incredibly cheap. For many budget-strapped New Yorkers, that $1 slice isn't just a snack, it's dinner, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. It's a true urban adaptation to extreme economics.
The $1 pizza slice, I'm almost surprised it still exists in that form. It really puts things into perspective when a dollar can still buy you a meal, essentially.
It really does.
Okay, speaking of navigating the city, getting around is another significant cost. Owning a car in New York is it's an absolute non-starter, right?
Boy, forget it.
Parking alone could eat half your budget, let alone insurance, gas, maintenance.
Completely impossible on $800.
So, with that MetroCard costing $132 a month, which is still a considerable sum from an $800 budget, how do people navigate the sprawling 5 boroughs efficiently?
Transportation on this budget is really a lesson in minimalism and, frankly, physical endurance. The primary modes are, as you might guess, the subway and walking. Lots of walking.
Okay.
For some, even that $132 monthly Metro card is a luxury they can't consistently afford.
Really? So they skip it?
Sometimes, yeah. Instead, they'll buy paper ride tickets only when absolutely necessary, calculating each trip's cost meticulously. This often means choosing to walk significant distances that most New Yorkers would just hop on the subway for. They see it as both a cost-saving measure and often, surprisingly, maybe even a faster option given the city's notorious traffic.
Right. Walking can actually be quicker sometimes.
Exactly. Biking is another popular hack. While a regular city bike membership can be pricey, there are discount programs for low-income residents, bringing the monthly cost down to around $15.
Ah, okay. $15 is much more manageable.
Much more. So that makes a bicycle an incredibly cost-effective way to get around, especially if you live in an area with good bike lane access. The sheer necessity drives people to these solutions. And it's worth noting, New Yorkers already walk an average of 5 miles a day. That statistic is partly born out of the need to save money, but also because, as you said, traffic here is just insane.
Yeah. It creates this vibrant, physically active street culture, almost out of sheer necessity. So it's not just about cutting costs down to the bone. It sounds like it's also about actively generating income wherever possible, often in ways that wouldn't be considered primary employment for most people.
Precisely.
People on this budget have to be incredibly resourceful, almost constantly looking for opportunities. What kind of creative hustles are our sources showing people employ to make those ends meet?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Survival on $800 isn't static. It requires dynamic, often unconventional income generation. People engage in just a myriad of freelance gigs through apps and personal networks. We're talking about dog walking, babysitting, food or grocery delivery services, maybe even tutoring online or locally. These aren't full-time jobs usually, crucial pockets of cash that supplement their main, often low-paying employment.
Filling the gaps.
Filling the gaps.
Yeah.
And bartering services is also surprisingly common. Someone might tutor a neighbor's child in math in exchange for using their family's laundry machine for free, saving on a significant utility cost like going to the laundromat.
That's smart, very community-focused.
It is. And working in restaurants, especially in the back of house or for smaller eateries, often comes with the added benefit of free meals or even taking home leftover food at the end of a shift.
Ah, the staff meal. That's a huge saving.
It's a massive saving on grocery bills. It's really a testament to how people leverage their skills and time in ingenious ways, often within a tight-knit community or network. And, to connect this to the even more extreme side of living situations we talked about, some individuals actually resort to long-term stays in hostels.
Hostels, like backpacker hostels.
Yeah. While typically seen as short-term travel accommodations, for a segment of the city's population, a bunk bed in a shared dorm, even for months on end, can actually be cheaper than any form of conventional rent they can find.
Wow, so you're sharing a room with 5, 10 strangers, constantly rotating.
Exactly, just to maintain a presence in the city. It's a really stark illustration of the lengths people will go to.
That hostel detail is truly eye-opening. It paints such a clear picture of the sheer determination involved. But okay, once the absolute essentials of food, shelter, and getting around are somehow covered, what about, human connection, enjoyment, or just a moment to relax? New York City is famous for its vibrant arts scene, Broadway, concerts, world-class dining. For someone on an $800 budget, those are clearly out of reach. So is leisure simply a forgotten concept? How do people find enjoyment or entertainment on such a lean budget?
Fortunately, this is actually where New York City truly gives back. It offers an incredible wealth of free entertainment and cultural experiences.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah. The city is basically a treasure trove of parks, public spaces, and institutions that provide endless opportunities for enjoyment without spending a dime. You can find hundreds of free concerts throughout the summer in Central Park, Bryant Park, and various community spaces. Many museums, like the Met or the Museum of Natural History, offer pay-what-you-wish days or free entry during specific hours.
Right, the pay-what-you-wish thing is great.
It is. And libraries are another incredible, often underutilized resource.
Yeah.
They don't just have books, they offer free classes, movie screenings, language courses, plus access to computers and Wi-Fi.
So much more than just books.
Absolutely. It's like a university and entertainment hub rolled into one, and it's entirely free.
And the parks themselves, I imagine.
Oh, definitely. And then, of course, there's Central Park itself. It's the ultimate urban escape, right? A sprawling green oasis that serves as a gym, a picnic spot, a place for quiet reflection, and a vibrant community gathering space. You can spend an entire day there enjoying nature, people watching, or just finding a quiet bench, all for absolutely no cost. It's a testament to the city's unique blend of, overwhelming expense and surprising generosity.
Yeah.
And the sheer scale of these free resources is genuinely remarkable. The New York Public Library System, for instance, is the second largest library in the U.S. Over 55 million items across its branches, all free to access.
55 million, wow.
Yeah, that's an entire universe of knowledge, culture, and entertainment available to anyone, regardless of their income. It shows how the very fabric of NYC, with its dense infrastructure and public resources, can actually be leveraged for survival and even enjoyment.
Okay, so there are ways. But beyond the numbers and the logistics, living this way with this constant vigilance over every single penny in tiny personal spaces, and often with the underlying pressure of a very precarious financial situation, it just has to take a significant emotional and psychological toll.
Oh, undoubtedly.
What do our sources say about the human cost of this kind of extreme budgeting? What does it actually feel like to live this way?
It absolutely does exact a heavy toll. This constant hustle, the perpetual awareness of every dollar, the near total lack of personal space, and that daily contrast of being surrounded by immense wealth and luxury you can't possibly afford, it's emotionally draining.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. Many describe feelings of isolation, anxiety, and just this persistent low-level stress. Yet what's striking is the narrative often employed by those enduring it. It's frequently framed as a temporary sacrifice.
Temporary sacrifice, okay.
This sacrifice is endured to chase bigger dreams, whether that's studying at a prestigious institution, pursuing an artistic career that maybe demands a New York presence, or saving up enough capital to eventually start fresh somewhere else with a bit more breathing room. It's a profound testament to human resilience and, perhaps, the powerful, almost magnetic allure of New York City and the opportunities, real or perceived, that it represents for so many.
That phrase, temporary sacrifice, really resonates. It speaks to a deep sense of purpose, I guess. But it also highlights a profound, almost unbelievable contrast within the city itself. While some are literally fighting for every dollar and every square foot, what's the broader economic reality of New York? The sources reveal a pretty stark picture of inequality.
They certainly do. The numbers really paint that picture of profound societal inequality. Consider this. The average New Yorker earns around $85,000 a year.
Okay, average $85K.
Right, which, is a comfortable salary in many parts of the country. But here, it's just average. Now, contrast that with the city's wealthiest. The top 1% makes an average of over $2 million annually.
85,000 versus over 2 million.
Exactly. That's the reality of New York City. Billionaires in penthouses, their windows overlooking struggling workers, crammed into tiny, potentially windowless rooms, sometimes on the very same city block.
That's staggering.
It isn't just a wealth gap. It feels like an existential divide where people inhabit completely different economic realities within the same few square miles. It's a city of extremes, not just an opportunity, but in how life is fundamentally lived.
So wrapping this up, can you truly live in New York City on $800 a month? Our deep dive into these sources unequivocally confirms that yes, technically you can.
It appears so.
But the narrative is incredibly complex. It demands extreme sacrifice, these tiny living spaces, an almost monastic approach to budgeting, relentless hustling, and just an endless fount of creativity to navigate daily life. It's brutal, it's relentlessly expensive, but it's also somehow a city where people find ways to make the seemingly impossible possible, driven by a determination that's truly astonishing.
And what this extreme form of living ultimately reveals, I think, is the profound value people place on just being in New York City. For some, the perceived opportunities, the unique energy, or the pursuit of a specific dream seems to outweigh nearly all personal comfort, financial stability, and even adequate living space, at least for a time.
Yeah.
It underscores this powerful human drive to access a particular kind of urban experience, despite its overwhelming financial barriers.
So maybe the real question isn't just how these individuals manage to survive on so little, but what it is about New York City itself that compels someone to choose such an incredibly challenging path. What does this deep dive into extreme frugality tell you, our listeners, about the city and maybe about the human spirit's capacity for adaptation? Something to think about.